Hello, this is Gary at Jack Raver Bushcraft. Thank you for watching our video. This week I'm going to look at another method of ignition. So in the past we've looked at fire steels, we've looked at bow drilling, we've looked at traditional flint and steel, Fresnel lenses, quite a range of ignition methods. This time I'm going to turn my focus to matches, so straightforward safety matches. So got a box here. I think it's fair to say they were certainly much more common in the past than perhaps now. So I certainly remember as a child they were everywhere, matches, especially the little kind of book of matches. Now of course we see them far less frequently. I mean, there's a lot less people smoke. We don't have, not as many people have open fires in their house, gas cookers. If my great gran had gas lights in her house many years ago. So these are standard safety matches. So we've got a match, and then we've got the striking surface. So with safety matches you need both parts. So there's a chemical in the head and there's a chemical in the striker. Both need to be present for this to ignite. So I wouldn't be able to light a safety match from a stone or any of those kinds of things. It needs to be the matchbox. Now in terms of weaknesses, these are very susceptible to moisture. So if either the head or the striker gets wet, then it's game over. They're not going to work. They're also, so if you do light it, it's still quite susceptible to the wind. So if you think about the climate that we typically have here in the British Isles, it's often wet and it's often windy. So for that reason, this is not really going to be my go-to ignition method in this kind of climate. But nonetheless, let's take a look anyway. So in terms of using them, so certainly I remember as a child being told don't strike the match towards yourself, so don't do this kind of thing. And that makes sense, because if you bring the match towards yourself, there's always the chance that you could set your clothes on fire. So essentially what that would often leave us with is striking away from yourself, so more this kind of thing. Now there's a couple at least a couple of disadvantages with that method. So one is that I'm striking into thin air like this, and so if there's any wind then the match is going to blow out. The other disadvantage is that typically you're going to hold the match more or less in the middle, which is the weakest part of the middle. So the weakest part of the match. It's really easy to do that, to snap your match. Now, I exaggerated a little bit there to get it to snap, but imagine if your hands were cold. So if you didn't have those fine motor skills, then in fact it is going to become much more easy to snap your match. Now, if I take another match, and I hold it like that. Now I can squeeze that between my finger and thumb as hard as I like. I'm not going to snap that much. So laterally it's really strong, like so. So I can take advantage of that. What I'm going to do is hold the match between my middle finger and thumb. Then my index finger is going to sit on top, my ring finger next to it. So I'm now supporting the match down its length, and my index finger is going to push downwards. So I'm going to hold the matchbox like this, so the striking surface is more or less vertical, and then I've got the match, so the angle between the striking surface and the head, it's pretty shallow, so I don't want it out here, I want it in nice and tight, like so. And then in case of push down, get it cupped into your hands, like so. Now, once your match is lit, you need to control the flame. So have it that way, it's going to go out really quickly. If I have it that way, well, it's going to burn my fingers. So I need the match to be kind of, it went out, but you kind of get the idea there. You want your match to be at a slight incline, so the flame burns up it nice and slowly. So I'll show you that again. Hold the match like so, matchbox like so, push down, get it cupped into your hands so that the wind doesn't blow it out, and then it's all about controlling the flame just to make sure that it burns at the right pace. And yeah, there is you may be able to tell just from a bit of wind noise on the microphone, there is definitely some wind about today, so protecting it from the wind is going to be crucial. From time to time I will take another approach, and that other approach is to hold the match between my thumb and middle finger like so, but it's kind of like halfway along my middle finger, and then my index finger is going to sit on top of the match head, and here I am going to strike the match towards myself, and the key thing is to remember to move this finger before it kind of ignites and flames. So bring it back, and again get it tucked into your hands out the way, so to protect it from the wind. You can see as well, I tend to use the matchbox as part of that protection. I'm just going to do that one more time, guys, but I'm going to get the camera in a little bit closer so that you can see what's going on in a little more detail. So to hold the match, I'm going to pinch it between my thumb and middle finger, index finger sits on top, ring finger alongside it, so I've now got the match supported down its whole length. So I'm going to hold the striking surface vertically, put the two right next to each other, and then push down, cup it into my hands, protect it from the wind. So for our second technique, I've now got the matchbox, so the striking surface is more or less horizontal. I'm going to hold the match on the end, part way up my middle finger with my thumb, my index finger on top of the match, and then I'm going to bring that towards myself, and again just get it cupped into my hands, protect it from the wind. So hopefully you found that to be useful, and it is very much my intention that is something that you can add to your bushcraft repertoire. We'll be putting another video up next week. Make sure you don't miss out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and in the meantime take care and stay safe.